say hello.
Okay. What's the pen?
I see the pen. Okay. How long have you two been married?
This October, it'll be 32 years.
32 years.
Sure.
Positive.
How old were you when you both met each other?
When we both met each other,
Your mother was 16, I was
I was
18.
15.
17 then.
Describe your marriage.
Describe your marriage. How do you describe a marriage after 32 years? How do you describe it?
I'm not sure what.
It's ups and downs. We've been together 32 years. I don't know how to describe it at this point.
Okay. Why did you two decide to get married?
It's just that.
I guess we had been dating for 7 years, and we loved each other, and
That was the next step.
That was the next step. We wanted to start a family.
Family.
That didn't include you. Dog.
Describe your engagement. Like when you guys were engaged. Like how was that?
When we got engaged,
Yeah, like how was that?
Most of the time, just planning
planning for the wedding.
wedding
was,
and getting ready to move out on our own.
You know, before we got married, we went to pre-Cana. You know, we were both working to save up to pay for the wedding.
How old were you guys when you got married?
You asked that question, I think, right?
This is when you guys both met each other.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would have been 24, your mother would have been 22.
What were you guys looking for in a spouse?
Someone who was fun, someone who I could trust, someone who had the same values that I did.
Same, I mean, it's just someone that matches up with you.
How does the reality of marriage compare to your expectations of how marriage would have been?
Reality of marriage, a lot harder, much more difficult.
A lot of different things impacting your marriage and your life that you didn't count on or didn't expect.
A lot of compromise.
How do having children affect a marriage?
On one hand, it was a blessing. It would bring us closer. On another hand, it put a lot more stress on the marriage, especially when you have a disabled child.
Go lay down.
She'll probably be laughing. Get out of here. What advice would you give teenagers who are dating and thinking about getting married?
To wait. Wait until you're older, wait till you enjoy life some.
Wait until you're financially stable.
And ready, yeah.
What advice would you give to a young married couple that is experiencing difficulties and possibly thinking about a divorce?
Don't have children to think that it's going to fix a marriage, and just try to work through the issues, and
Go
it's
for
patient, compromise.
Compromise, patience. Go for counseling. I think today people give up too easily.
What would you say is the key to having a happy marriage?
Still searching for that key.
Anything?
Communication is a big key. Without communicating, I don't think you can find that happiness.
What would you guys do from like a daily or like weekly, monthly basis to keep like a marriage strong?
It's communicating, it's trying to find
Things in common that you can do together.
right, or just getting away, you know, just the two of you, you know, the couple themselves, just for an overnight or a weekend to escape.
Do you think vacations as a couple, like before or after you're married, would help, or would that somehow like affect their relationship?
Vacations?
You're going away
With a couple by themselves or with the
yeah,
whole family?
with by themselves.
Oh no, that's what your mother just said, is at that time alone.
And what about with a family? Like, would you find that stressful, or would you find that more like?
It depends on the
enjoyable?
vacation. There are some vacations you go on that can be very stressful when it has to do with traveling and getting places and going places and on a schedule. And then there are other places where it's a lot more relaxed vacation. There are always two types of vacations.
Do you think a couple should live together before deciding to get married?
That's a tough question. You know, I think today, because divorce is so prevalent, that people just get married and then they just give up when things get rough. So I don't know if maybe living together and learning to adapt
Before you make that final commitment.
might not be such a bad thing.
So you think it's like a good step in a relationship?
I don't know
Don't
if
know.
I'm totally for it, because it kind of goes against your values. But,
But
I can
if,
see the
like,
benefits that it could
But if
help.
you're bound to get married and you guys move in with each other, why would that be against values?
Because you're not supposed to live together until you're married.
Right. You know, according to church teaching, you shouldn't cohabitate before, you know, you get married, but it's...
It could pay some dividends by people that are just going out with one another. All of a sudden they now have to live together and they have to make those compromises before they get married. If they see, uh-oh, this is not the commitment that I want to make, or the commitment that I want to make to this person, it's much easier to separate if there's no marriage in the middle of it. So maybe in some cases that could be a better thing.
Now, looking back on everything that you guys have been through, would you do anything differently? And if you could, what?
I think we would have waited more time before we actually got married.
Yeah.
But you guys
Get
have
older.
known each other since
Yeah, I know, but
you were young.
It's still different.
you're
because
just starting
we got
your
married
professional
so young.
life and career and
Right. I think maybe to be more financially stable, maybe not buy a house right away either. You have that pressure of a house and then a family. You always feel like you have to, you know,
Go the next step, the
right,
next step.
one step leads to the next step, and you get so caught up in it and not thinking about it. I mean, there were times after I had your brother that, you know, we were looking, we had what, $5 left? How are we gonna buy, you know, formula or, you know, so maybe to be a little bit more financially stable.
So that's another part of the question, as you guys, would it be better to wait and make sure you have enough, like, that you're financially stable so that you can, like, provide for years and, like, later on?
right, that you're more fixed in your career,
More well-prepared.
more well prepared, you have some savings, so that if and when you do have children, someone has to stop working, that you can adjust to that.
You know, financial distress puts a lot of stress on a marriage. It really does. I think most marriages break up due to financial issues and problems, and maybe being more financially stable, that would lessen that stress of a marriage.
Okay. I think that is it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Did you learn anything?
I don't know. We'll see.